It's 20 minutes to 9. You're watching The Great British Breakfast with Rosie and Simon. A very good morning to you.
Now, it might not be in our headlines, but that doesn't mean it's over. 2 weeks after Storm Arwen left over 240,000 people without power in the northeast of England, there are still some people relying on generators.
Well, as Northern Power Grid continues to work towards full power restoration, communities in very rural Northumberland are still clearing the aftermath and dealing with the consequences. And our North East of England reporter Rachel Sweeney has been to Northumberland. She was there at the beginning and she says this is far from over.
Storm Arwen ripped through the northeast of England 18 days ago. Roads remain obstructed, the landscape looks destroyed, and local people are trying to keep the area moving. That's despite power blackouts as Northern Power Grid works to complete full restoration.
As a farmer driving around, it's disheartening to see 300-year-old trees that have just been uprooted, snapped. Not just one or two, we've got 15 big beeches, 4 big oaks, 200 acres of trees that have, that we've grown over 40 years, have gone flat overnight.
Jamie Wood had guests staying at 5 of his holiday huts when winds of 98 miles per hour tore through Prendwick. He managed to get customers to safety, but he did lose 3 cows, and he's still unsure how many sheep survived. Despite his own struggles, he supplied 3 other families with generators for free.
There's one chap still got one generator that's running his fridges for his meat business. Another lady delivered a generator back 2 days ago. She had it for a week. Yeah, I gave them out. They were sitting in the shed, so people had no electric for a week. What's giving a generator for a week, to someone who's got no power? When you've got fridges full of meat, you can't afford to lose all that meat.
Storms Arwen and Barra made national headlines for just a few days, but the reality is that weeks later, people here are still relying on generators and goodwill. In some parts of Northumberland, the only way to pass through roads is by tractor or quad bike.
Northern Power Grid has been criticised for its response to Storm Arwen, and an investigation is underway by regulator Ofgem.
It's been absolutely atrocious. We've been overlooked. We haven't had the backup, we haven't had the resources. It's been horrendous for people living in the countryside. We've had people in isolation for 10, 12 days without electricity, no power, no heating, no cooking, no kettles. It's been an absolute disaster. It was only on the Tuesday, Wednesday, I was getting emails in telling me that they're going to put it back on in an hour or 3 hours. So if you didn't have electricity, how did you get connected to the internet? Imagine what would have happened if for 12 days there was no electricity in London. This is what people up here have had to suffer.
Northern Power Grid has apologised to customers and said teams are changing the way they communicate with customers in power outages. But there's one thing that will never change, and that's a rural community's determination to pull together and recover.
Well, that was Rachel Sweeney with that report, and it's good to do stories that the media concentrates on a story, then moves on and then forgets, and you're left with the aftermath of that. But as you can see, there's still many people really suffering as a result of that storm. And as you pointed out, if that had been in Westminster, I don't think it would have been 12 days before they had their power restored. Anyway.